What time did the man go to the dentist?
I don't know what time.
2:30.
I was not
Such a good
ready.
joke. When you're not ready for a joke, it's always
No.
so much better.
Hello, welcome to Falboyz, the podcast.
The podcast.
Hey, Banana, what are we talking about today?
No idea.
It's true. When we were trying to figure out what to do, he's like, "What do you want to do?" I'm like, "I don't know." And he's like, "Well, that's a great idea." I was like, "You know what? I have an idea, but I'm not gonna tell you."
So it's kind of funny
Okay.
because in the beginning of the last podcast, we talked about preparing for podcasts.
Yeah.
And we are.
We're prepared for the future, just not
And
the close future.
I was thinking about it last night, and I didn't message you.
Mhm.
Because I thought about it when I got home.
Mhm.
And didn't message you. This morning I woke up, and I'm like, we never talked about
Nope.
this episode.
Nope.
We talked about an entire month's worth, essentially, of episodes
Mhm.
that aren't even key episodes. They're like extras.
No, they're gonna be either backlog for us or just bonuses. So
they're
either
like-
or is gonna be more content out there. Which is
So
awesome.
I'm like, oh, we're doing this, and then like this morning I was just like, wow, we're so close.
Yeah.
And then
We're almost
and
there.
then I text you, and then like at first you didn't respond right away,
Yeah.
and I was like, man, he's having a long day. I'm having a long day. This is gonna be an episode. Then you're like, I have an idea. I'm not gonna tell you, and I was
Yep.
like, you know what? We'll go
Yeah.
with that then. And then like I waited a few hours, like still not gonna tell me, and then you're just like, nope. And I was like, all
Nope.
right, so it is what it is. Let's see how good we could just run with it. This
Well,
is a true test of it.
yeah, well,
'cause
I think I
half
have-
of us are running with it.
half of us are running with it,
It's,
and I think it's gonna be good.
It's a 50% off the hip.
Yeah. So as you know, we like movies. Okay.
Yes,
So what I did was, we both love horror movies.
We
We
do.
can also be specific. I love horror movies not just for the fear factor, but I also love it for like I feel like they're the more well thought out, deeper movies. If you watch documentaries on like any one of the Nightmare on Elm Street, sorry, they're all like they all line up with society and they all have deeper tones to it that like reflect in the movie, which
There's-
makes the
there's-
genre brilliant.
there's always an underline.
Yes.
There's always an underlying concept, theory, historical part. Like, there's always something with
Yes.
a horror movie.
So, in line with that,
Okay.
we love movies.
Does this game involve memory?
No.
Okay, like do I have to,
I
do
mean
I have to, like,
recollection.
recollection, but not like I don't have to go
It's
like
not
deep
like
thought
I'm gonna
detail
read
thing.
lines
Alright.
to you and you have to.
I'm
tell
not
me
taking
who's-
a
yeah.
test right now.
no.
Okay.
No.
I was like, 'cause
I do
I'll
have a
tell you
piece of
right
paper
now,
and a penny right now.
I spent 5 hours on the phone with IT today.
Yeah.
My brain cannot compute a
Okay.
test.
No.
Okay.
This will be a little bit of thinking, but not much.
Okay.
So, as you also know, we like to play games.
We do.
One of the games on our Twitch channel is we have to figure out the Rotten Tomato score of a movie.
Yeah.
Okay.
Great game. I
Love
think,
it.
I think
Love
both
the
of us
game.
do pretty well at that game.
Yes. So with that being said, I went on Rotten Tomatoes and I found the top 200 horror
Wow.
movies of all time. Now, when I say of all time, it's pretty much it goes back to like the 20s
I was gonna say this
and
probably
it's
goes-
up to recent history.
Okay.
Now I'm not going to ask you to rank all these movies. I took 8 of them that I think we've all seen.
And I'm Rotten Tomatoing them, kind of.
No, you are going to tell me, one, you could tell me where you would rank them, and two, where you think Rotten Tomatoes ranks them. Now, the way
Out of the 200. So where I would rank it out of the 8.
yes, and also, so
Okay.
it's not the top 8 movies either. So it's probably like one of them might be like number 3, the next one might be number 12. Like,
Yeah.
I just picked
Yeah,
movies.
that I gathered.
Yeah. So
But for
it's
my
where,
ranking, I'm ranking them at a top 8. But do I have to lock it into a spot, or can I know all the movies and then?
No,
place them?
you're gonna know all the movies at
Okay.
one time, and
Alright.
then you can lock it in. So I went with movies that also have a little bit of historical value to them as well. So we could talk through each movie,
Yeah.
see what we think about them, and I'll give you some facts that I may or may not have known about
Yeah.
them, which may make you, if you've seen the movie, think about it a lot scarier, or not see the movie, watch it or rewatch it. You know what I mean? Something like that.
I'm excited for this. I
So-
also love when there's like truth to horror movies.
Yeah.
Like, yes,
Well-
it makes it so much scarier.
yes. Well, you
but
may
I
or may
think-
not
I
like some
think-
of these
I
truths.
think some of that stuff is like
yeah.
very entertaining.
Yeah.
Or it's like, oh, like cool, the writer is not a complete lunatic,
Yeah,
just like
yeah, yeah.
80%
Yeah.
lunatic. Like,
So what I'm gonna do is I'm gonna put it on screen. I will read them. You can read them too. I'm gonna read
yeah.
them for people listening audio. I'm also gonna cover the portion screen to make sure that I did it properly. So
Look,
okay, we're good.
just go look down. Like, that's easy.
We're good. All right. So here are the movies:
Okay.
Halloween, The Babadook, The Ring, Psycho, Silence of the Lambs, Nightmare on Elm Street, and Nosferatu. Now, you don't need to like lock these in. We can have conversations about all of
Yeah.
them. I'm going to write down. I'll write down the RT list, which would be Rotten Tomatoes, and then I'll write down your list. I'll write my list too, just in case if we care about that.
Yeah, I know.
I
I
already
want
know
your
the answers, but
opinions.
I don't think it truly
Do you,
matters. Like
well,
it's,
I
this
would
is
like
just
to
a
know.
fun.
I would like to know your 8, like
Okay.
the order of your
Yeah.
8.
Yeah.
Like, I know, obviously, you know the
Sure.
Rotten Tomato score,
Yeah.
but I would like to
I
know the
actually
order of
don't
your
know
8.
that. So what they did is they took the top rated audience score and critic score and like combined them and then came up with like their top 200. I didn't write down the score that they received, but I wrote down their place on the
That's
list.
what. Yeah, like their
Yeah.
place. Yeah.
So this is not the order that they are in, just so you know.
So I will say, like off the rip,
Okay.
top 5 horror movies for me is on this list of Silence of the Lambs. Like
Silence of
that
the
is
Lambs.
that is
Okay.
a solid top 5.
Legit.
Like not
Silence of the
locking
Lambs,
that in,
solid.
but that'll probably be 1 or 2.
Okay.
Um, I was just talking about this not too long ago with Rosebud and my father that I want to see the Babadook as an adult because I haven't seen that movie since I was too young. I don't
Yeah.
want to say too young to watch the movie because that was an obvious answer. Too
Yeah.
young to
Yeah.
appreciate the movie for what
Yes.
it is. So it's definitely a rewatch movie. So I don't want to like knock that one to the bottom of the list because I remember it being pretty good, but also I want to watch it with like
The
a developed brain.
Yeah, The Babadook was one of the movies that I was actually afraid of
Yeah.
at the end. Like I went over Chris's house. It was like me, Chris, Adrian, and like Lou. We went over mad late at night. It was like 11 o'clock. We went down in his basement, which is not like a finished basement; it's a normal basement. We watched it. I remember being mad. Like you always sat in a spot right above the TV. They would sit on the couch. I sat on a chair at a table, like leaned back a little bit. I remember watching. I'm like, this is scary. And I got home and I'm like, that was a scary movie. I didn't have nightmares, but I
Yeah.
was like laying in the
Like,
dark, and
it's
I'm like,
scary.
this darkness is very loud. You know what I mean? It's like one of those where like I don't want to be alone. But Babadook was to me a sleeper.
Yeah, as I've talked to people who've watched it more recently, even
Yeah.
like some of my
I wanna
friends and
watch it
stuff,
again, though,
they're
you're
like,
right.
they're like, oh, like it was better than I remember it. That was like a lot of like my friends, like my age group, that have rewatched it because we
Mhm.
watched it when we were too young. They're like, oh, it's way better than I remember, and it's still scary, which is awesome. So I'm
Yes.
like, oh, that's great. I have to admit, I'm not a huge fan of Halloween.
Okay.
That's probably gonna be like 7 or 8.
Okay.
Um,
So on your list, but
on
then
my
you have to
list,
figure out where
yeah.
to put it. Yeah. So Halloween is probably
But I feel like Halloween's probably higher up on that 200. Like I would put that in the 20s.
I like Michael Myers more than Jason, only
Yes.
because I feel like Jason. You don't really. I don't know. We could talk about this forever.
Yeah.
But I feel like I like Michael Myers more than Jason, and he's not. Neither one of them are my favorite.
I think how sometimes on like I don't know, maybe like a 60-40 split on how Rotten Tomatoes works. Um Halloween's going to be pretty high on the list, especially because of the nostalgia factor. People
Yeah.
love that movie, critics love that movie.
Yeah.
It was groundbreaking of the era. So I would probably put that like late teens, mid 20s. Like I'd even say I could lock in the Rotten Tomato score for Halloween at like 18.
Okay, so you're gonna put Halloween. I'll just write it down, and then we can rank it. So you're putting Halloween at 18.
Yeah, like that's Halloween 18 for the Rotten Tomato. Out of 200 movies, I feel like that is very respectful.
That's pretty respectable. Yeah.
I for me, it'll probably
For
be
me, I want to check. that.
lower on the list, more towards the end. Nosferatu is another movie in the similar Babadook fashion that I need to rewatch it as an adult. I have seen it, but it was in one of those moments of me watching a movie the way I watch movies most of the time,
Mhm.
which is also doing 12 other things at one time.
Yeah.
Um,
I love. I think the image of Nosferatu is terrifying. I love that it's like early Dracula.
yeah.
But yeah, we'll get into some of that stuff
And
too.
for
when we wanna
me,
go.
even though the way I grew up, even though I was like not supposed to watch scary movies, it wasn't like all of these movies were on
Yes.
the ban list as
Yep.
a kid.
Sames.
For whatever the reason, when it came to like vampires and werewolves and all that stuff, it made it farther on the ban list. Like it was even harder for me to watch than like a
Okay.
regular horror movie for whatever reason.
Okay.
Like if my mom walked in and me watching Saw,
Oof. Uh-huh.
and she'd be like, "You're not supposed to be watching that." She came in and watched me like watching Nosferatu. She's like, "Why are you watching The Devil?" I don't know what the difference was. They're both horrible movies in that regard.
Yeah, yeah.
Um,
Of the same genre.
but I guess like the mythical creature end of it, I don't know.
Well, there is, I guess, like there is a more whimsical,
Yeah, like
magical aspect
yeah,
to
and
Dracula.
that was
So
harder to I guess like sneak in to
yeah,
watch
yeah.
for whatever the reason. Um, but for me, if I think I'm gonna start ranking them out like my
Okay.
top 8.
Your
Um,
top 8. So I'm gonna write these down.
yeah.
I'll write these down.
Um, we're gonna put just because I need to rewatch it, and in my brain, I'm gonna redo this list in like 6 months in my head.
Yeah, yeah.
Like one day, I'm gonna be watching one of these movies and redo this top
I
8.
want to rewatch all
So
these.
just
Yeah.
because I know I need to rewatch it to give it the respect that they both deserve, I'm gonna put an 8 Nosferatu and then 7 the Babadook. Not because I think they actually belong there, is that
For you, they're not fresher.
they're not fresh in the mind. And then we're gonna put Halloween right behind that, at 6. And it's only because I think if I know myself, I'm gonna watch the other 2, and those are gonna be like 5 and 6, and Halloween's gonna go to 8.
Sure.
But I don't want to be like Halloween's at 8.
It's not a fair shake.
It's not a fair
Yeah,
shake.
yeah,
So that back end there is, I think, respectable in that sense
Sure.
that it is movable in my head.
Yeah. Okay.
And then just because I'm not the biggest fan of it, you're probably gonna be like, "What's wrong with you?"
I already know what you're gonna say.
What?
Psycho.
No.
Oh, really? Okay.
Nightmare
okay.
on Elm Street.
Oh, I hate you. That's your number 5?
That's my number 5. I like Psycho way more than Nightmare on Elm Street.
Okay.
You know what it is? It might, for Nightmare on Elm Street, it's probably in the same category as the other ones. Is that as I felt like I watched them because I was told I had to.
Okay.
So it was like one of those like just check the box type deals.
Mm-hmm.
But I mean they're good. They're great.
They're great.
It's rewatchable. So I don't know where that is, but I think there's other movies on here that I like significantly more. Obviously.
Oh, there's only 7 movies, by the way.
Yeah,
There's
I'm
not
like
8.
counting, and I was like,
Did I miss one? No, there's 7. Okay.
nice. So making this a little
So, yeah,
easier.
there
I
we
was like
go.
looking at it, I was like, am I missing a movie?
I was like, wait, number 7. Okay.
Um, So we're really at number 4.
So right now you're in top 3. You're dealing with top 3s right now. So 4, 5, 6, 7.
So the movies I have left would be The Ring, Psycho, and Silence of the Lamb.
Correct.
So Silence of the Lamb would have to be number 1 for me.
Okay.
And then it's a toss between The Ring and Psycho, which I think for me they're both equally as great, like on the platform. Just on the rewatchable aspect for myself, I would have to put The Ring at number 2.
Okay.
Because I think I've watched that movie the most on this list out of all the movies there.
Okay.
And I don't know. I love The Ring.
Okay.
I love The Ring. I think The Ring is phenomenal. But Silence of the Lamb is like borderline a perfect movie.
Yeah. So I'll go through some information here with what I have, which makes these movies scarier or not. I guess that's up to you. So I did a list, or I also looked up a list of like the best horror characters based on real people.
Okay.
So, number 9 was Norman Bates. So this is Norman Bates is based off of a guy who is actually based off a very similar guy from Texas Chainsaw Massacre, which makes kind of no sense because I don't really see any relation between the two.
No.
But when you get to it, let's see. It's based on inspired by a murderer, Ed Gein. Gein was also known as a butcher of Plainfield, who was an American murderer and body snatcher. He gained notoriety in 1957 when authorities discovered that he stole corpses from local graveyards, made trophies, keepsakes, and furniture for their skin and bones. Gein also confessed to killing 2 women in 54 and 57. So I guess where the kidnap, like the skin and bones kidnapping, I guess like Norman Bates kind of did that. I also have to kind of look when Psycho was made because
Yeah.
I'm pretty Let's look that up right
Honestly,
now.
we could
That seems wrong. For being honest.
and
Um,
and here we're always honest, guys. Always honest.
I think you have to be.
Uh,
Psycho had to be made in like I don't know 40s. Oh, 1960. Okay, so actually, I obviously don't know when Alfred Hitchcock was dead and alive. Um, so for me, Psycho is a really good movie. Um, I
Me neither.
think I'm gonna put it at the 3 spot. Psycho is my 3.
That's where it landed for me, I think.
It is the same as you, which I believe is actually surprising. I like Psycho, but I already know that there are 2 movies that I like much more than that. So let's see.
I think your top 3, that's going to be the only match in our top 3.
It'll be similar. Yeah, the bottom will be man.
Your
I don't
back
know.
your back end like 4 and back is not going to
It's
matter,
fluff, yeah.
but
Silence of the Lambs. Ready? This came in at number 7 based on real people. So number 7, ba 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 ba. Hannibal Lecter is based on the little-known Mexican murderer named Alfredo Trevino. Trevino was a doctor who was also interviewed by Lecter's creator, Thomas Harris. So the guy who wrote the book, Thomas Harris, was interviewed by this guy. So he literally lived this story, essentially.
Lived the story.
Yeah.
That's actually like really cool.
Yeah. Well, also very terrifying. While doing research at Nuevo Leon State Prison, Harris saw Trevino save the life of an inmate. Upon leaving, Harris discovered that Trevino was one of the prisoners convicted of murdering and mutilating his lover. He also suspected of killing and dismembering several hitchhikers during the late 50s and 60s. That is crazy.
But at the same time,
But
to
it
save
makes that movie
yourself,
so good.
in reality, to save yourself in general, most of these cases, don't hitchhike.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, well, as now, like, I feel like, yes, people, unfortunately, there are still bad things that happen to people. However, technology makes it a lot easier for these people to get caught. I'm watching The Sopranos, and 20 years ago, some of these things, people will
Would've
still get
never-
away with them.
Yeah.
But you go back to the 60s, who knows? These
Yeah.
people are, like, they're still running. But Hannibal, Silence of the Lambs, I'm going to put it at my number 2.
Okay. Nice.
Just because I think we already know which one's going to be my number 1. The next one on this list is number 4, Freddy Krueger. Nope, number 6, sorry, Freddy Krueger. Which you would not think is based on a real person.
I felt like I had to be.
But it's terrifying to die in your dreams. To me, I think that's the best power anybody could have. I think it's the craziest situation. Because you're too afraid to go to sleep, and then when you're asleep, you're too afraid. So you gotta wake up. There's no rest ever. So Nightmare on Elm Street.
But you're a bad dreamer.
I don't remember any dreams. Literally.
Like,
so I would probably be okay.
For me, in the concept, even like that thought process of like dying in my dream, real.
Oh, for me, I would probably be Freddy Krueger's worst nightmare because I'd go to sleep and wake up. He'd be like, I couldn't get him. And I'm like, I feel great. I don't know what's happening with you guys. Like all these people.
Who are you?
Yeah.
Like,
I do not dream. I mean, I dream a little bit, but I should probably start writing them down. That's how infrequently I remember my dreams. Number 6 is Nightmare on Elm Street with this guy. Freddy Krueger was inspired by Hmong refugees, as per GameSpot. I don't know if that's a valid source, but it is for this situation. Who fled to the United States because of war and genocide in Laos, Cambodia, and Vietnam in the 70s. The refugees suffered disturbing nightmares and were unable to sleep. Some of the men died in their sleep soon after. So it wasn't even. Wes Craven is so crazy that he heard people dying in their sleep.
He heard people dying in their sleep, and then he just like
he's like, wait.
He's like, wait a second.
What if there's a dude with finger knives?
He's like, hold on, we're on to something here.
Let's finger knives this one.
Yeah.
For me,
that actually makes the movie that concept like from like knowing how basic.
Yeah.
That this entire movie has like stretched from makes it more interesting to me. Well, like it does. Like I was like, I want to rewatch this in the eyes of the writer.
Rewatch them all, and then there's also a documentary called Never Sleep Again. It's about all I think at the time 7 Nightmare on Elm Streets, and they go into each one and they talk about where they sat in society and what reflected
Okay.
in the movies, and it makes the movies so much smarter. Don't get me wrong; some of them are hot garbage,
Yeah.
but they're
I
still
mean,
great
it's
when
not
you
gonna be
look at it through a
perfect. It's not
different
gonna be
lens.
perfect every time, but
Yes,
when you change the lens of it,
yeah.
it is great.
So for me, Nightmare on Elm Street, number one.
I had a feeling that
Freddy
was gonna be
Krueger
your
is
number
my
one.
favorite villain. I think
And
he's the best.
that's fine.
Yeah,
I think all of these movies are very respectable,
yeah.
and for it being 7 movies, will be healthy top 10 choices for any horror
Mm-hmm.
movie fanatic.
Yeah.
Like any true horror movie fanatic would not be mad at any movie on this list.
No. And another one that Wes Craven created that was on this list of top scary people was Ghostface from Scream. So Wes Craven, though a
Scream's great.
maniac, is brilliant. I have not seen the new ones. I want to. I hear they're really good. Number
I've never
5
heard
on
of
the
it.
real people horror list,
Okay.
Halloween. This one I didn't read yet, so I'm gonna read it with you for the first time.
I'm intrigued.
So John Carpenter created Halloween, just so we know. He's also done it. He's done not it. The Thing.
The
Sorry,
Thing.
The Thing. It was a word.
Yeah.
It was a simple word. It was Stephen King.
Yes.
Here we go. Let's see where we. Can
I've been
go.
to his house.
Okay. In a 2003 documentary, Carpenter revealed the main inspiration for Michael Myers came from a visit to a mental institution. He met with several severely mentally ill patients, including a young boy around the age of 11 or 12, who he said had the devil's eyes. Terrifying.
Yeah. That's scary.
So
that's actually scary.
yes, I don't like Halloween, but I do like Rob Zombie's Halloweens.
Yeah.
Just because I feel like they're a little more psychological. I'm sure the originals are too, and somewhere in there it just didn't translate. Where am I gonna put Halloween? I'm gonna piss off a lot of people.
7.
But hold on. So is it solely on Halloween, or do I base it because I like? Oh no, you know what? So here's my thought. Am I basing it on just Halloween the movie, or am I basing it on Michael Myers the entity, like the other movies, the other versions, variants
I
of
did
it?
it just on Halloween.
So either way, I think either way that I'm gonna stick this, he's still gonna end up in number 7.
So you ask all these questions to still
Yes.
answer it the same way. Got it.
Well, because I looked at another person that was on my list that has other variants, and I'm like, I like that person's variants more too.
Yeah.
So either way, I still think
Still.
it sits higher.
Yeah.
So the next one is Dracula, who Nosferatu, for lack of the OG. This one I recently found out about, and there's a documentary on, I don't know, the History Channel or something that I need to watch because it sounds terrifying. I don't even know if you're ready for this one. So Nosferatu / Dracula, whomever, created by Bram Stoker. So let's see. Dracula is based on Vlad the Impaler.
Mm-hmm.
Vlad was a ruler.
Did you not know that?
I did not know this.
Okay, I knew that.
I did not know this.
I knew that.
He was a ruler of Wallachia, whatever, between 1448 and his death in either 1476 or 77. He led a great war and plundered Saxon villages, impaling everyone they captured. Before his death, he is reported to have massacred tens of thousands of people. He also, I believe he drank blood, and there are some, I don't know, studies or whatever, where they believe he cried blood as well, all the time. Like, I don't know if he ate that much blood that it just, took over all the liquid in his body. But that's terrifying.
Yeah. So that I actually knew.
I did not know that.
Didn't you do like a...
No, I did Gothic literature in school, but I read Dracula. I did not read the
You didn't
the
go
stories.
into
No,
history.
I just know that Dracula is one
I just
of
know
my
you read
favorites.
Dracula.
Yeah.
So yeah, no, I've read some history. We actually talked about that in high school, and for some reason, I don't know why. We did nothing super educational in high school. We just talked about cool things.
Sure.
Which that was one of them.
Nosferatu, I'm putting it at number 5.
I think that's respectable. Like I said, that's one of the ones that before I could truly rank it out, I would want to rewatch.
I love Dracula. I love the book. I love the movie.
Never read the book. just
The
read.
book is good.
I've just read random
I have 3 copies of it.
history, like history points of Dracula and a lot of different stuff on like vampires and stuff, but nothing specific.
It wasn't until college that I realized I actually liked reading a certain genre of books that wasn't a graphic novel.
I know why I researched Vlad the Impaler and how I got
Okay,
there.
do tell.
It's an episode of a TV show that I watch. I'm trying to remember which one. I don't remember. I think it's either Law and Order or like one of those cop shows, maybe Blue Bloods, where there's a vampire, um, and he's mimicking. It's a serial killer who's mimicking
Mm,
murders that were very close to Dracula stories, and that's what led to
got it.
stories of Vlad the Impaler, and then the knife style, and a couple other things, and it went over a big history. So I wanted to see how much of that history was actually accurate. So I
Got
ended
it.
up staying up all night reading about Vlad the
The
Impaler.
right thing to do, obviously.
Yeah, I rabbit hole real bad with stuff like
Yeah.
that. Real bad. I will lose
Um,
sleep over, you know, those stupid little things like that.
um, I, I've just never had. I don't know. I don't know what I ever felt the need to look into it or not. But I love Dracula. Um, the next one, I guess that we'll go into. I didn't actually. Let me finish this one because this is. I don't know if I knew this, but it's terrifying. Number one on this list is Pennywise from It,
Mm-hmm.
and I just never put two and two together. I think. And It is obviously a clown.
Yep.
Or Pennywise is a clown. The demon clown known as Pennywise is based on the infamous serial killer. Would you like to take a guess at this? Because after I read it, I'm like, that makes sense, but I never put two and two together.
There's a lot of serial killers.
There's a lot of serial killers, but think of one that I believe infamously liked to dress like a clown. And it is
I
pretty
can't
much
remember
recent
his. I
history.
can't remember his name, but yes.
Pennywise, based on the infamous serial killer and sex offender John Wayne Gacy.
Yeah. There it
Who
is.
raped, tortured, and murdered at least 33 young men and boys in Chicago. Gacy was given the nickname Killer Clown as he performed as Pogo the Clown and Patches the Clown. So that is terrifying. Unfortunately, it did not make the list. I literally went down the top 200 and I was like, all right, I'm
Was
only going to
it
stop at
not
7.
in the top 200.
It probably is. Well, maybe the remake is. I don't think the Tim Curry made for TV movie
Yeah.
is. But I thought that was notable. It was like, oh my god, this is insane. I never
'Cause-
put it together.
It's incredible.
Which makes me want to like. I think I just recently watched 1 and 2, and I still really do like them actually. But it makes that movie scarier for sure. So next, I guess next on the list,
It was just a fun fact because, like, I think what makes it almost scarier for me is the town where it is based from is based off of a small town in Maine that
Yes.
actually exists.
all his books are in Maine.
Yeah, most of them are like cinematically just outside of Maine, but I went to the city that it's based off of.
Mm-hmm. Derry. Well, the non-fictional Derry.
Yeah, the non-fictional dairy. And there are, because you had sent me like an article when I was out on my honeymoon that had mentioned some of the landmarks that are actually there.
Yeah.
One of them is legitimately right down the street from his house,
It's awesome.
like a half a block away. But I'm just there. And I was like, so you think this is a calm, quiet town in the movie? Because it is.
Yeah,
It is even calmer in real life.
that's crazy.
Especially because if you think about it, seasonally, it's kind of off season. Like it's like wasn't always the summer.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. And it's more north, so the
And-
summer probably comes and goes very quickly.
It comes exactly. So like we were there. I'm like, there is nothing in this town.
Yeah.
Like there's the 5 landmarks that he mentioned, and like the nicest people on earth. So like, to think about it like that way, like yes, it's sold as like a nice, quiet, calm community, but like it being even nicer and calmer than you could imagine from
Yeah.
a cinematic perspective, where you
Yeah.
would think that's the exaggerated version. No, in real life, it's calmer than that. Like I could actually see those people like from the town, like talking to a few people and like going to a couple of stores there, like reacting in the mass that they do, but also not reacting at all the way they do. Like I could see both extremes
Yeah.
of that being like the day-to-day life like in that town, because it's just so peaceful and quiet. There weren't even really a lot of cars driving around. The only people that were out were the people that knew where Stephen
Yeah.
King's house were.
You're not
Like,
really visiting there
yeah,
much.
you're here? Yeah, because we're 30 minutes from the airport.
Yeah.
So we're on our way out. Like, that's pretty much how it was. And that to me, I was like, next time I watch this movie, I'm gonna watch there's too many people on that street.
Yeah.
That's a lie. Like,
So I think I'm going to put The Ring at number 6.
really?
And here's why.
I'm interested for this.
Just don't care for it.
Really?
I don't know
At all?
why.
I don't know.
The premise I get, but to me it just doesn't do it for me.
Okay.
I don't know why. And that puts me at the Babadook at 4. Mostly because that movie, for whatever situation, I actually did get scared of, and I do want to rewatch. I looked into it a little bit. What I really like about the movie is it doesn't feel independent, but it was a $2 million budget film, so
Yeah.
it was low budget.
Yeah.
It made $10.5 million, so it made its money back and some, and that's just box office. So I really like that the movie didn't feel low end, but it
Yeah.
also had, after reading into it today, it has like a lot more deeper imagery that I think I got partially, but
not
which
all of
may
it.
have subliminally made me more scared when I was laying in bed at night because I was like on the verge of becoming like a real adult. Like,
Yeah.
I wasn't married yet, but I don't know. I could have been engaged. Who knows? I don't remember the time. But yeah. So that movie is up there for me. I think it's really good. So now you see the movies. We've
Yeah.
talked about them. You have your list. What is your list? You can just rank them. So for sake of a better term, 1 to 7. And if you want extra points, you can try and see pinpoint where they're at. Like you've already ranked 11 Halloween at number 18.
Yeah, I
So
have.
where do you think that falls? Like what other movies do you think are rated better or worse? 18 is a pretty good guess for Halloween. Unfortunately, both of us put it pretty low on that totem pole.
But we're also talking about 200 movies.
Yes.
And as though there are probably many better movies than Halloween.
I can tell you right now, I skipped over other movies that I like way more than Halloween.
Right? But there's so many more. There's so many more movies out there that are probably better than these.
Yeah, it was just groundbreaking for the time. And that's why it's made it through.
Yeah, and that's why it's made. I think if they were to do Halloween, like start fresh in today's world, it would not hold up.
Well, that's why I like the Rob Zombie one because I feel like it does hold up to an
an
I
extent.
don't remember if it was modern day, but I believe the Michael Myers was modern day, but as an adult, not as a child. But yes, to an extent, I think you need that form of craziness to lock it into real day and age, which makes it terrifying.
It's like what's that one? The stupidest movie I've ever seen, The Blob. Right?
Okay, yeah.
That's
the UPN 9 special.
But that was a groundbreaking movie.
Mm-hmm.
That terrified people.
It's scary. It's scary if you think about it.
It's a booger.
But if you think about
it's a booger.
Okay, but it's killing people.
Get a Kleenex.
It's killing
Get
people.
a Kleenex.
It's way bigger than that.
No, it's
way
fine.
bigger than that.
It's fine.
It's way bigger than
They had
that.
shop vacs back then.
Way
they could have
bigger
figured
than
it out. Like, you know what I mean? But it's groundbreaking.
Yes.
Like, we could argue that to the end of the world that the movie's terrible, but
if that movie was made today, the Blob would have to be way bigger.
Way bigger, way
and
scarier.
You would be like, get a shop vac, and then the Blob just kills you. So obviously it doesn't work.
What's the one? Hold on. There's a movie that like kind of came out. It's not considered a horror movie. It's a psychological thriller. But the way the creature is in the sky kind of reminds me of the Blob. Where's my wife when I need her?
Creature in the sky?
Yeah, it's like an alien. But it only attacks you when you're looking at it.
I have no idea.
I'm going to have to Google this in a minute. But
yeah,
we'll go back to this. So right now, am I giving it where I think they are at the top 200 list? Am I giving it its 200
so you can rank it. So right now you can say...
So I have my rank.
Yeah, so
but
you
now
can be
I'm
like,
rank
all right,
it what I think
you think Halloween,
is better.
for sake of conversation, like Halloween is number 1, Babadook's number 2. And then if you want, you could be like, all right, I actually think Halloween is number 8. Babadook is number 12. The Ring is number 15. You know what I mean? Like, place it in the order that you think it falls, but then try and see, like, I don't think I went past the 100, so you're probably under 100. So that doesn't help you very much.
So place it in the numerical order of what Rotten Tomatoes is, but not at its number, and then I could guess its number.
Yes.
Okay. So like what I think Rotten Tomatoes thinks is the best of all of these movies.
Yes, of these movies, which do you think... Yeah. RT is the best?
I might have to say Nightmare.
You think Nightmare? Okay, so we're gonna put Nightmare at number 1 for. I'm put it up top.
Yeah.
Um,
I feel like Nightmare, and I know you're not a fan of it, but The World is. The Ring has to be up top. Like The Ring is definitely above, like higher on the scale. Lower
okay.
on the scale, higher on the scale. How does this work? Numerically lower on the scale
Yeah, numerically
than
lower.
Halloween.
Okay. So, do you think you're putting Ring in number 2 for 2?
For this sake, I might, yeah.
Okay. Do you think you leave Halloween at 3, or you want I could move it down?
We might need to move it down.
Okay. I'm actually gonna start over then, for my own sanity.
Yeah, thank you. Sorry.
Nightmare, Ring.
Because I don't know, part of me wants to believe that Silence of the Lambs is better than Halloween, but I also know it probably isn't.
Well, maybe think about some of the actors too. Like, can you name an actor in Halloween? Can you name an actor in Silence of the Lambs?
I think right now,
No.
my brain is melting enough where
My brain is
think
like, I can't name anybody.
if it was any other day of the week, I could probably name several actors in all of these movies. I don't think I can name a single actor. I could
Yeah.
picture them in my head,
Yeah.
and I know that they're in like other movies
Mhm.
and have done other things, and that's like the hard part that I'm having. I feel like I'm in the same boat with Nosferatu, where I'm gonna have no idea where to place.
I don't think I
no
even know the guy who played Nosferatu. It's too old for me to even know.
No idea, but because it's old, I'm gonna put that towards the bottom of the list.
Okay.
Because even though it was
So-
probably
you want to?
there's 7,
Yeah.
so I'll put Nosferatu at 7.
You're gonna put it
So I
at 7.
just-
So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7.
just so I don't have to keep thinking about it. Solely because of the age value, that there had to be better movies that just outranked it.
Okay.
I could be thinking about it wrong.
You could be.
I probably am, but
You're not a critic. What do I know?
I'm just critical.
Yeah.
So what do we have? We have one,
We have
2,
1, 3, 1, 2, and 7.
1, 2, and 7. Which is I put Halloween, Ring.
Yeah. No. So you put Nightmare on Elm Street.
Oh, Nightmare.
Then The Ring at 1 and 2, and then 7 Nosferatu.
Then we're gonna do the Babadook.
Where you putting Babadook?
3.
Ooh.
Solely because it has been the number 1 movie in top and like suggested for you on every streaming platform that it has come up on.
Okay.
And usually when that's the case,
It's a solid flick.
it's a solid flick.
Yeah.
It's because if it switches platforms on something on a streaming service and it immediately becomes suggested for you,
Yeah.
like it is because it is top tier in that category.
Okay.
Like, at least in my experience so far.
Okay.
It's either top tier or complete garbage. And
Well, you know it's at least one of the top 200 movies.
yeah, and
so
I refuse to believe that it's a garbage film.
it's not. I don't think so.
So
So now you got 4, 5, and 6, and what's left is
Halloween, Silence,
Psycho, Silence of the
Psycho.
Lambs.
we're gonna do Halloween,
Okay.
Silence, and then Psycho.
All right. Would you like to take any further guesses as to what their actual numerical value in Rotten Tomatoes is?
I'm keeping Halloween.
You're
at
keeping
18.
Halloween at 18?
Yeah.
Okay. So that means you think Nightmare, Ring, and Babadook are higher than 18.
Yes.
Okay.
I have.
You just gonna rank Halloween? You're gonna put it right in the middle?
No, we're gonna put Nosferatu because I just want to be like fair about it. We're gonna put it at like 37.
Ooh, 37. Okay. 37's a solid pick. But that's your number.
That's
now.
my latest.
That's your
now.
latest.
That's also the
okay.
farthest down the list. I know you said it's not gonna be over the 100. I
gave me
can't
zero
see.
room.
I can't see any of those being that bad. I feel like if
Yeah,
you even though it's out of 200, I feel like if it's above 50, it's not even worth my time watching.
Okay.
And I know there's more than 200 movies,
For sure.
like even in this category. But,
Yeah.
But I feel like if it's over 50, it's
But
not
of all
worth.
time, so there's some
it's-
garbage out there.
Well, there's the Blob.
Yeah. I didn't check where the blob is. I'll check that later.
I want to know where the Blob
we'll
is.
follow up
We're
later.
gonna have to follow up on that. That's all the ones I'm gonna guess. I feel like
Okay.
other than that, I'm gonna give things too much credit.
Okay.
I feel like I'm giving Nosferatu too much credit as it is.
Wow, too much credit?
Yeah.
At 37?
But I just want it to sound nice.
Wow, that sounds mean, actually.
It's top 50.
So, I guess so. So, here we go.
You think about how many top 5 and top 10s we do for different movie categories as a whole,
Yeah.
right? We're just doing one for one genre. Like we're not gonna go that far out.
Yeah. Okay. So
In my head,
to,
you could be like, this movie's 197. I'd be like, dang, I
yeah.
love that movie. But like,
Well, it
is
doesn't
what
matter.
it is.
But
You know
still,
what I
top
mean?
197 is there's tons of movies. So you ready for the reveal?
Yeah.
All right, here we go. You were very close with 18 for Halloween,
Wow.
mind you.
It's a good movie.
So number 1 is actually Silence of the Lambs.
Oh, Silence of the Lambs. Yeah,
Silence
5.
of the Lambs was 5.
Silence of the Lambs is a phenomenal movie.
Solid. So Silence of the Lambs.
LOL. I could have just switched my score with Nosferatu and Nightmare.
Yeah.
I guess 37.
So
for the record, my 37 is still the farthest down you went.
Yes, 37 was where I stopped. That is correct.
And in my head, under 50 is a great movie in this category.
Ring.
So all these are still great movies.
Yeah.
Babadook
was 25.
I don't know why that suddenly makes me nervous for the movie Babadook.
It's good, dude. Nosferatu lands at 16. So
that excites me, knowing that out of 200 movies, Nosferatu's in 16, like it's in top 20. That actually pumps me up.
It's great. So Silence of the Lambs, I think I messed up on how to keep score.
Halloween is a good movie.
Yeah, go figure.
Even the other people think so. I don't know why that sounded weird in my head.
I don't know if you got any of these right, my dude.
I didn't get any of them right.
3, 4. What's number 4? Nosferatu. You did not. Wow. Yeah, you didn't get anything.
No.
Wow. Well, but also your taste. So you were closer with your own taste in music.
Movies.
Taste of movies. You put Silence at 1, and there you put Silence was number 5.
Yeah.
The Ring further down, 27. But Psycho you had up there. So
you
that
know
was your
what-
number 3.
you
You
know
were
what this-
closer with your actual Rotten Tomatoes.
You know what? Well, I was closer with my actual score.
Yeah.
Like my actual preference.
Your
of movie.
pick was closer to what you thought what Rotten Tomatoes was.
In history and our streams, and I'm sure future and other podcasts will tell, I'm usually the complete opposite of what Rotten Tomatoes says.
Well, yeah, it's usually really hard to determine.
These are like, what is a critic watching? What is a person like? Sometimes my opinion of a movie is very different than yours, and yours will be different than mine. But like sometimes we'll discuss it, rewatch it, and then formulate new opinions of the same movie.
Well, that's just it. The
changes the
critique,
point of view.
The point of view is different. Like I may watch a movie one time and I'm like, I'm really critical of this one thing, and then I watch it again. I think about like, for lack of a better term, Will Ferrell movies. Previously, I would watch them, not think they're funny, rewatch them, hilarious. Napoleon Dynamite, watched the first time, stupidest movie I ever wanted to see.
I always love that movie.
And then me and my friends would just be hanging out, and I'd say something stupid, and I'm like, that's from that movie. Dang it. That's a really funny line.
Yeah.
And then I just keep saying other lines.
It's the perspective, the point of view, and all. Like, so there's a lot.
A lot to it.
For us, anyway. I'm sure for some people, there's a lot that goes into just watching a movie.
Yeah.
I will always kind of, I don't want to say like watch it with like guarded first, but I'm always gonna like underline like what are they trying to hide that everyone's gonna catch the second time they watch it. Like I want to catch it now.
Yeah.
Like I want to.
It depends. Sometimes I don't want that.
Sometimes that's, but that's just how my brain is like wired, I guess, to like kind of find those little things. But then I'll miss like the blatantly obvious things.
Yeah.
So I guarantee it. I need to watch a movie twice.
Yeah.
I don't necessarily watch movies more than 2 or 3 times, because then I just feel like it's like monotonous and like dead to me.
Yeah.
Which I know that you could rewatch the same movie.
There's some movies
if it's a good movie,
yeah.
you could just keep rewatching it. I don't want to say like
Jaws was on this list. I'm like, I could put Jaws on in the background all day.
And
like,
it's not a scary movie, but a great movie.
No, but for some reason it's a horror genre. So I mean, I guess it is the last 25 minutes. Getting eaten by a shark.
Shark.
Getting eaten by a shark is very scary.
Yeah.
So yeah, I think I don't know. There are some movies that I can just put on that I like as background noise. But with that being said, that's the episode. We can also use this to segue into our June 6th live stream.
Yes, we can.
We're gonna live stream on Twitch. We're gonna do some podcast episodes over there. We're going to stream with our friend, Reviews from the Tub, we're going to do a live movie review of The Terrifier.
Yeah.
So, if you've seen it, maybe you want to watch again. If you haven't seen it, maybe you want to watch it. Disclaimer, it's gory, okay? So, it's right up in the genre of what we've been talking about for the last 45 minutes or so.
So we're going to watch the movie ahead of time, obviously, like the week of. I'm probably going to try to watch it like the week of.
I might watch it. I've just recently watched it, so I might wait, but we'll see.
I haven't watched it yet. I'm going to wait till the week of so it's super fresh.
Yeah.
Maybe because it's a Thursday, I might even wait till the day before.
Because
it's like I really might wait it out,
fresh.
Wait it out. So it's super fresh. But I'm super excited for it. I've heard a couple things about it. I try not to hear too much about it. I've tried not to read anything about it. Besides what we've discussed in like our text conversations and a little bit on some of Tubbs' stream, but very little information do I have, and I'm just trying to keep it exciting for myself. I'm also like, I hate this about myself when it comes to watching movies is I figure them out very quickly and I'll get bored of the movie before it's over. But that's also why I love horror movies.
Okay,
because I may figure it out, but I'm like, all right, I'm excited for the journey. Because there's the pop scares, there's the gore, there's a little bit more action to it besides, like standard action. Like, you know what I mean? Like that'll keep me entertained. Like, ooh, what are they gonna do to get that point across? Like type deal. And like that's why I love like the horror and like the psychological thriller genre and platform. Yeah. So I'm really excited for it for June 6th.
Yeah, so come join the conversation. Whether you've seen it or not, just come hang out with us. Thank you so much for hanging out with this podcast. We really like movies, we really like games, so that's what we did.
We turned a bunch of movies into a game.
It's really the best way to do it.
I love it.
It was great. We talked about it for a bit, and we brought some real life spectacles into it. So
people may go and watch these movies differently now.
Let us know where you would rank these movies. Where would you rank these 7 movies? In your own just top 7. What do you like more? What do you like best?
Yeah.
There you go. Did we change any of your opinions? Probably not.
Do you hate horror movies? What genre of movie do you like?
What genre would you like to do this in? Because we'll do it. I will 100%
give us a genre to do this again.
Yep. Give us 7 movies. We'll rank them. All right, guys.
Ooh, I like that.
Yeah, I like that. Guys, thank you so much for hanging out with us. We will see you. I don't know what's happening with my words. My mouth is so dry. I'm so thirsty.
We'll see you soon.
There's a bottle of water somewhere around with my name on it. All right, guys. Have a good night. Stay safe. And as always,
we love you.